A lot of the best companies solve the simplest of problems. For us, it was, give me a sandwich.
The year was 2012 when a couple of UC Berkeley students founded the food delivery app, Caviar. This app, now worth hundreds of millions of dollars, was born out of a frat house.
One of the first meetings that we had as a company was here in this fraternity house.
Within the span of 3 years, these new grads went from frat brothers to co-founders, selling their company for over $100 million. So, how did they do it? We're here in San Francisco today to find out more. There are 3 numbers to watch out for in Caviar's story. 50,000, Caviar's first investment from the founder of Gmail, Paul Buchheit. 100 million, the amount that Square paid to acquire Caviar. And 410 million, the amount that DoorDash paid to purchase Caviar. For CNBC Make It, I'm Ernestine Siu, and this is Founder Effect.
We're here at UC Berkeley where it all started. It's definitely a lot of really good feelings here, just because this is where my journey started as a startup entrepreneur. I'm Shawn Tsao. I'm 34, and I co-founded a food delivery app called Caviar. I never thought I was going to be a startup tech founder. Growing up, I used to draw a lot and design buildings, play with Legos. I aspired to become the next Frank Lloyd Wright or Frank Gehry. And when I went to Berkeley, I had a tunnel vision of I'm going to be an architect, I'm going to have my own firm.
Prior to Caviar, Shawn and his co-founders worked on Munch on Me, a daily deals app similar to Groupon. The app had a great start and got accepted into prestigious Silicon Valley startup accelerator Y Combinator. However, nearing the end of 2011, the company started crumbling following an industry-wide meltdown.
It was all the signs of a failing company. When we came to the realization that we had $10 in the bank, no restaurant wanted to use our product. Our consumers only wanted to use our site when we had free deals. They didn't even want to pay for anything. This used to be the old Bears Lair where I used to hang out with my friends. We actually met up right over here and we discussed, should we continue this company or should we try to go on our own ways? But in the end, after a couple of beers, we decided that we were going to continue this startup journey and come up with something new.
So what was going on in your head at that time? Was it scary? Was it stressful?
Oh yeah, it's absolutely stressful. In my head, I was thinking about how my mom was saying, are you sure this is gonna work out? Maybe you should go get an MBA. A lot of startup companies fail and they wanted me to do something more stable. But I didn't want to give up on this journey just yet.
In a last-ditch effort, the group went back to the drawing board. They decided to give it 6 more months to come up with a brand new idea.
So while we were whiteboarding, I was really hungry and I really craved an Ike's Place sandwich. It's one of my favorite sandwich shops in the Bay Area. And the only shop that they had at the time that was close enough to me was in the Castro. There was no way for me to really get their sandwich other than a 2-hour TaskRabbit that cost maybe $20 to $30 in delivery fees. So I was like, okay, we can do this. There's already the idea of independent contractors because of Uber and Lyft. So we adopted that idea for food delivery. So we were like, let's be the Uber for food. So funny because now there is Uber for food, Uber Eats. So
Shawn and his co-founders began pitching their new idea, Caviar, the Uber for food.
The first investor for Caviar was Paul Buchheit. At the time, he was an advisor at Y Combinator. He is the inventor of Gmail. And we pitched the company to Paul at YC's former headquarters in Mountain View. Instantly, he was like, I'm in. Went to his car, grabbed a $50,000 check.
So how did you guys pitch it to him?
It was simple. We just said, imagine your favorite restaurant delivered. That's it.
Within the first 2 years that Caviar was in operation, the business took off. Silicon Valley titans such as Andreessen Horowitz and the Winklevoss twins were among the first to invest in the company.
One of our major investors were actually the Winklevoss twins. They're one of our biggest early checks, and they even provided us an office in New York.
Just a few years out of college, Shawn and his co-founders had great success getting funding for their company. but it was far from easy.
We're essentially begging for money. So many people told us we were gonna fail. And these came from well-known investors, well-known founders, entrepreneurs. So it was hard.
Responsible for helping with the marketing side of the business, Shawn and the team found their formula. Get the best restaurants in town on the app.
We realized that if we signed the best burger or best taco in the neighborhood, all of a sudden everyone's talking about us. In an indirect way, they don't necessarily say, oh, you should sign up for Caviar to get food delivered. They would say, hey, Little Star Pizza does delivery now. And they would go to their website that would backlink to us. And we just blew up.
At the time, the food delivery space had lots of competition. Seamless and Grubhub were also coming up, and it was a race to zero. Zero delivery fees, that is.
It was brutal. We were working 7 days a week. I'm at our office, looking at orders, signing restaurants, doing customer service, sometimes going out as a courier myself. Actually, not sometimes, every day going out as a courier myself to do deliveries. We were definitely not making any money, but it was something we were passionate about, and so we kept grinding. When we first started, because we had such a small team, not all of our tech was built out yet. And so there were times when we had to manually give the orders to the restaurant. And so I would have to call in and tell them, all right, you got an order for XYZ. And some of these places have some like weird names, or they're in a language that I don't know, like Vietnamese. And okay, here we go. Like, listen closely.
In 2014, Square reached out to the team for a meeting. Little did they know they were about to receive a deal of a lifetime.
We had just finished raising our Series A from Tiger Global. And so we were already getting inquiries from other companies for possible partnerships. One of them was Square. Jason and I, we went down to Miami to check out the city for potential expansion. And their Square biz dev person called us and he said, okay, we have an offer for you. And he gave us this 9-figure offer. Jason and I, we hung up the phone, called our other co-founders like, hey, Square gave us a number. Are we gonna take it? After some discussion over the phone, we all said, yeah, okay, let's do it. Let's see where this takes us. At that moment, I think Jason and I, we realized that, holy cow, we actually like made it. The fact that like somebody wants to acquire us with this much money. And so we went out to a club, got a table, just the two of us. There's nobody else at this table, just the two of us at a club in Miami, and we were just celebrating.
After just about 3 years of operating the company, Shawn and his co-founders sold Caviar to Square in an all-stock deal worth over $100 million. They also split a $2 million all-cash sign-on bonus to seal the deal. With these new funds, Shawn purchased a Tesla to replace his old car that had broken down months before. Was it even a question for you whether or not to take the deal?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We had a lot of momentum at the time, but at the same time, one of the promises that Square told us was that they were going to bring 20 of their best engineers over to the Caviar team on day one. It's something that was hard to turn down because we knew that would be the best direction for the company.
In 2019, DoorDash bought Caviar from Square in a deal reportedly worth $410 million. Shawn and his co-founders were not involved. Did you guys ever expect Caviar to become what it has and that you would have such a successful exit?
I was so busy thinking about my next day that I couldn't even think about, oh, we're going to IPO and take over the world. If you're an entrepreneur and you're really passionate about the product that you're building, not because you just want the glory of being a CEO or a founder or an entrepreneur, like you're really passionate about what you're working on, that will get you through the hardest days. Without that passion, you're just gonna give up after the first few months. It's that hard.
Today, Shawn and his co-founders spend their time investing into new ventures, globetrotting, and enjoying their time with loved ones.
I am really passionate about food still. And so I'm continuing to expand all my restaurant brands, and I hope to be serving you all at my bar soon. Honestly, I'm always happy just advising startups, investing in them, and hoping to get in the right direction.
Well, I'm sure your mom's proud of you now.
She still tells me I should go get an MBA, actually.
Still?
Still, yeah.
Oh my God.